Ed, the financial services business that sounded like that was your main thing that got you going. Can you talk us a bit about how you built that?
I did. I built that. It's a recruiting model. And so the key to that business was getting great people working with me. So I built a client base over time, but the key for me was to learn how to persuade people. At the end of the day, the skill of being able to persuade people is priceless because I can take that skill and use it everywhere. You're using it and we're using it with each other right now. So you can persuade people with the written word, the spoken word, video, audio, in person, big stages, one-on-one, boardrooms, but you have to be persuasive. And persuasion, I'll give people one tip that I learned very young that I always am conscious of. Most of you are in sales that listen to this. You may not know it, but you're in sales. This podcast, to some extent, is sales. You're selling people that my show is one you should listen to. That's a sale, right? You have to influence them. If you don't do that, you don't have a podcast. So businesses don't exist without somebody having the ability to influence other people. Influence is a transfer of energy. So it's making people feel something, right? That you want them to feel that would benefit them. But here's the mistake most salespeople make. And it's going to sound crazy, but here's what it is. You're trying to convince people to believe what you're saying. That's your mistake. You're trying to convince people to believe what you're saying. Everyone right now is going, of course that's what I'm trying to do. No, that's not what influence is. Influence is not that people believe what you're saying. Believe it or not. You know what influence is? People believe you believe what you're saying. And that's a subtle distinction. If you're constantly trying to get people to believe what you're saying, you come across like a beggar. You come across desperate. Your energy is weak. But when people believe you believe what you're saying, you're influencing them. People buy things all the time they don't understand and don't even necessarily believe it. I have a 68 Chevelle parked in my garage right now. It's a classic car. Evidently, it's a badass car, but I don't know anything about it. If you ask me right now, I just got asked at a gas station 3 days ago, because guys love this car, right? They're like, hey, what is that? I'm like, I know that it's a 68 Chevelle. I'm smart enough to say that. They go, what do you got under the hood? You know what I usually say? Man, you need to take a look. No idea what I got under the hood. I don't know what kind of an engine it is. I don't know if it has a carburetor. I don't know if it's fuel injected. I don't know shit about cars. I bought that freaking car because everyone told me how cool it was, but I don't know anything about it. I don't even know if it's a good car or not. I know I paid $200,000 for it. I own a $15 million jet. You think I know whether my jet's better than Grant Cardone's jet or anybody else's jet? I have no idea. I know the guy who sold it to me believes that. I don't know anything about jets. I don't know. People buy things all the time because the people that were selling it to them believed in it. People need to believe you believe it. They don't have to necessarily believe everything you're saying. Yeah. And that's why I'm a good communicator. I'm not trying to get people to believe what I'm saying. I'm trying to get people to believe I believe what I'm saying.
Yeah. And is there, other than believing in yourself, is there a way for you to come across, with volition, of course, more like you believe in you that you're saying?
Yes, in every conversation, the more certain person influences the less certain person. My wife proves this. I've known my wife now, I'm 48 years old. I've known my wife 43 years. So we've been together a long time. I have yet to win an argument. Even though I've probably been right about 77% of the time. But the reason she wins the arguments is she's more certain she's right than I am, and she eventually wears me out on it. So the more certain person always influences the less certain person. So what I'm conscious of all the time is my certainty level about what I believe in. Yeah. Either what my product or company can do for them, the difference in their life, the difference for their family. I'm a huge certainty freak. Like in our country, we have these presidential elections every 4 years. There's two things almost every winner has ever had in our country: more certainty and more energy. The candidate with more certainty and more energy always beats the one with less certainty and less energy, every time. You could go all the way back to, Barack Obama against Mitt Romney. He was more certain and had more energy. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, no matter what you feel about politics, he was more certain and had more energy. It's just a fact. And I know this is not your country's politics, but I was just at an event with Tony Blair. and then he spoke out. And our politics probably aren't the same, but I was so impressed with him. And I know I'm probably losing half the audience in the UK, but I was impressed with his ability to transfer energy, number one.
Yeah.
And I was super impressed with his certainty level. We talked about Brexit and some other things. And I don't know that I agreed with him about Brexit, but I definitely believed he believed what he believed about Brexit. And that had some influence over me. And so those are the things I'm most conscious of when I'm trying to influence.